Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Kita mulakan dengan membaca Ummul Kitab Al-Fatihah. A'udzubillahi minasyaitonirrajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Arrahmanirrahim. Maliki yaumiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdinas siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta 'alaihim ghairil maghdubi 'alaihim waladdallin. Amin. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala sayyidina Muhammadin asyrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Ya Allah, ya Tuhan kami, ampunkanlah dosa-dosa kami, ampunkanlah dosa kedua ibu bapa kami, dan kasihilah mereka sebagaimana mereka mengasihi kami di masa kecil. Ya Allah, ya Tuhan kami, kurniakanlah kepada kami ilmu yang bermanfaat untuk diri kami, keluarga kami, agama kami, bangsa kami dan negara kami. Ya Allah, ya Tuhan kami, berilah kepada kami kejayaan di dunia dan di akhirat. Ya Allah, ya Tuhan kami, jadikanlah kami orang-orang yang bersyukur. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanah wa fil akhirati hasanah wa qina azabannar. Walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Ya, alhamdulillah, kita bersyukur pada Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala kita dapat bertemu dalam kelas yang ketiga untuk minggu yang kedua. Dan untuk permulaan kita ambil attendance dulu. Ainin Safiah. Ada?
Saya, sir.
Okey. Alisa Cahaya.
Ada, sir.
Okey. Ilya Insyira.
Ada, sir.
Imanina Kaisara.
Ada, sir.
Muhammad Hazriman.
Ada, sir.
Okey, Muhammad Khairul Nazwan.
Ada, sir.
Okey, Muhammad Danish Adam.
Saya, sir.
Najia Elisa.
Saya, sir.
Okey, Nur Aisyah.
Saya, sir.
Nur Alia Najwa.
Saya, sir.
Nur Elisa Balkis.
Saya, sir.
Okey, Nur Hazira Izlin. Tak ada. Nur Nisa.
Saya, sir.
Okey. Nur Syafia.
Saya, sir.
Okey. Nurain Nabiha.
Saya, sir.
Okey. Nurin Arishah.
Saya, sir.
Okey. Nurul Aini Najwa.
Saya, sir.
Okey. Nurul Najiha.
Saya, sir.
Okey. Syazwani Auni.
Saya, sir.
Okey. Siti Nur Farhana.
Saya, sir.
Okey. Siti Nurain Syuhada. Amira Yusma Farid.
Saya, sir.
Okey. Batrisha Aiman. Irdina Dayana.
Saya, sir.
Nur Syafiqah. Nurul Iza. Syarifah Nur Batrisha.
Saya, sir.
Syahira Ahmad. Tak ada, Okey. Nanti kita tanya semula di ujung kelas.
Sir.
Ya.
Tadi Nur Hazira Izlin tadi dia mic dia problem. Dia ada angkat tangan tadi.
Angkat tangan. Saya tunduk tak nampak, Okey. Nak baca nama kena tunduk. Okey. Siti Nurain ada?
Saya, sir.
Okey. Batrisha Aiman? Tak ada. Nur Syafiqah? Tak ada. Nurul Iza Eliana? Tak ada. Syahira Ahmad? Tak ada. Okey. Okey, kita sambung sikit lagi tajuk intangible. Okay, in the previous class we have stopped here. Example of apa ni? Example of indefinite life Okay, so kita sambung dengan impairment. Okay, so impairment is impairment is related to any asset any asset. So property, plant, equipment also have impairment. Intangible asset also have impairment. Okay. An asset carrying amount may not be economically recovered from future business activity. Okay. Use of the asset may continue but may be insufficient to recover the current carrying value of the asset in the future. Inilah sebab-sebab impairment berlaku Okay. We still have the asset, we still use the asset, but the recoverable amount cannot cover the carrying amount. Whenever indicators of impairment exist, a review of impairment should be carried out. Where impairment is identified, a write-down if the carrying value to the recoverable amount should be charged as an immediate expense in the income statement. So whenever there is a write-down of a carrying amount, okay, let's say the carrying amount is 1 million, the recoverable amount is 800,000. So we are going to take the recoverable amount as the new carrying amount. The difference between the two is 200,000. What we are going to do? We are going to charge into our statement of profit or loss immediately. And however, to the extent that it reverses previous revaluation uplift, it should be charged directly against the revaluation surplus. Okay, kalau katakan sebelumnya kita ada revaluation. Sebelumnya kita ada revaluation. Kemudian ada pula berlaku impairment. Okay, what we are going to do? We are going to reverse the revaluation surplus. We are going to reverse the revaluation surplus. It means we are going to debit the revaluation reserve and we are going to credit the asset. Okay. Impairment review. Impairment review must be carried out each year for intangible assets with indefinite useful life that are not yet available for use. Reversal of impairment losses should be recognized under certain restricted circumstances. Next, derecognition. Okay, at the beginning of the topic, we learned about recognition. If the asset fulfill the recognition criteria, we are going to recognize. But if the asset does not fulfill the recognition criteria, we are going to derecognize. So what are the reasons for derecognition? Okay, there are two reasons. The first one is retirement of the asset, and secondly, the disposal of asset. Retirement and disposal. When an intangible asset is disposed of, it is eliminated from the statement of financial position. Okay, dispose of. When we dispose our asset, it will be eliminated from the statement of financial position. What is the meaning of disposal here? Let's say we sell our non-current asset. We sell our intangible, right? We sell our intangible. We dispose our intangible. So that intangible will be eliminated. It will be taken out from the statement of financial position. It does not exist in the statement of financial position anymore. That is derecognition. This is also required when an asset is permanently withdrawn from use and has no future economic value. Permanently withdrawn from use. Okay, let's say your company purchase accounting software. Your company purchased accounting software 5 years ago. Let's say your company purchased UBS 5 years ago. So after 2 years, your company changed the software. You are not using the UBS anymore. The company is using ABC, for example, ABC. So UBS is not being used anymore, withdrawn permanently from use and has no future economic benefit. So we have to derecognize. Any gain or loss arising, being the difference between any disposal proceeds and carrying amount, is recognized in the statement of profit or loss. Be it a gain or it is a loss, we have to recognize in the statement of profit or loss. And inter-reserve transfer is made for any element of a revaluation reserve relating to the asset to transfer to the balance to the retained earning. So, for example, you have ARR for certain intangible asset. You have ARR for certain intangible asset, and you dispose of the intangible asset. After you dispose, but there is still a balance in the revaluation reserve. What you're going to do? You are going to transfer the amount balance from the revaluation reserve to retained earning. Okay. Example: disposal of intangible asset with finite life. On 1st January 2018, ABC purchased a patent at a cost of 100,000. It is estimated that the useful life is 5 years. On 31st December 2019, the patent was sold for 75,000. Purchased on 1st January. Purchased on 1st January 2018. Disposed on 31st December 19. After 2 years. The patent was sold for 75,000. So, what we are going to do? First, we have to find the carrying amount. So, what is the carrying amount? The carrying amount is the cost less accumulated amortization. The useful life just now is how many years? 5 years. 100,000 divided by 5. How long already been used? 2 years. 2 years, right? So 100,000 divided by 5 equal to 20,000 times 2 years equal to 40,000. So carrying amount is 100,000 minus 40,000. And the carrying amount is 60,000. Now it was disposed at a selling price of 75,000. So there is a gain on disposal of 15,000. Why 15,000? 75,000 minus 60,000. It is equal to 15,000. Are you following?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
very good. Disclosure. What is disclosure in bahasa? What is the meaning of disclosure in bahasa? Disclose. Apa makna disclose? Disclose mean dedah. Disclosure mean pendedahan. Okay. Disclose each class of intangible asset, distinguishing between internally generated and other intangible. So in our disclosure, we normally disclose intangible asset in a few parts of the financial statement. Okay, the first one we are going to disclose on the face of statement of financial position. On the face of statement of financial position. Okay, so we put there on aggregate basis intangible asset. Yeah, we put there intangible asset, the total net intangible asset, the carrying amount of intangible asset. That is on the face of statement of financial position. Non-current asset, intangible asset. Okay. Second, where we are going to disclose? In the statement of profit or loss. Yeah, the amortization will be disclosed, but not disclosed as amortization of intangible asset. It will be disclosed as either admin expense, or selling and distribution. Okay, aggregate. Jadi dia disclose sebagai aggregate. Aggregate maknanya combination of expenses as admin ataupun selling and distribution. Okay. Number three, it will be disclosed in the notes to the financial statement. Ini yang dalam notes to the financial statement ni. Jadi yang kita kata disclose each class of intangible asset, distinguishing between internally generated or other intangible. So if it is a purchase intangible, we are going to disclose as purchase intangible. If it is internally generated, we are going to disclose as internally generated. Then, whether the useful life are indefinite or finite. Ini pun dalam nota jugalah. And infinite, the useful life or the amortization rate used. Number 3, the amortization method used for intangible asset with finite useful life. Number 4, the gross carrying amount and any accumulated amortization aggregated with accumulated impairment losses at the beginning and at the end of the year. It means we must have the opening balance, we must have the closing balance, and we must have the detail in and out during the year. Addition and subtraction during the year. Is it because of purchase of new one, or it is because of disposal of the old one? Okay. And also impairment, if any. And number 5, the line item of the intangible asset. Yeah. In which any amortization of intangible asset is included. Okay, the line item of the income statement actually. The line item of the income statement, in which any amortization of intangible asset are included. I mentioned just now, normally, intangible asset amortization will be included as part of admin expense, but it could be included as part of other expense also. Alright. Ini example satu lagi. Okay. Cost. Okay. Yang dikatakan sebagai disclosure tadi dalam notes to the financial statement, it will be like this. So we have 3 layer. The first layer will be the cost or revaluation. Balance brought down, addition or subtraction, balance carried down. To first layer. Second layer, accumulated amortization. Okay. Balance brought down, change for the year, and balance carried down. To second layer. And the third layer will be the carrying amount. Carrying amount, and then we minus the accumulated impairment. Okay, kita tengok satu statement, satu additional information di dalam actual annual report. Cuba kita tengok. Internet slow. Okay, saya tak boleh nak buka Google, jadi terpaksa kita teruskan dengan example yang tadi lah. Okay, jadi macam ni lah. Jadi kalau katakan kita tengok dalam bentuk yang berkotak. Mana ya? Okay, jadi maknanya cost or revaluation, balance brought down sampai kepada balance carried down. Okay, kemudian accumulated amortization pun macam tu juga, balance brought down, changes, kemudian carried down. Kemudian kita compare ni balance carried down of cost ataupun revaluation ni dengan balance carried down of accumulated amortization. Kan, 100,000 dengan 40,000 ni kita akan dapat 60,000. Kita akan dapat 60,000. Itulah the carrying amount. Lepas tu kalau ada impairment, kita akan tolak lah impairment. Kita akan tolak dengan impairment. Jadi saya tak boleh nak tunjuk sebab Google tak boleh nak buka. Alright. Next. A reconciliation of the carrying amount at the beginning and at the end of the year, showing addition, indicating separately those from internally generated development, those acquired separately, and those acquired through business combinations, asset classified as held for sale or included in the disposal group classified as held for sale, according with MFRS 5. And also other disposal, and we need to show also increases or decreases during the period resulting from revaluation. So basically, kita ada 3 layer. Yang pertama adalah cost or revaluation. Second layer, accumulated amortization. And the third layer will be carrying amount. Carrying amount at the end of the year. Okay. Jadi semalam saya ada bagi contoh soalan tutorial, tapi saya tersilap bagi contoh soalan tutorial. Jadi pagi ni saya bagi yang baru punya, soalan tutorial yang baru. So you boleh semaklah dalam you punya WhatsApp, dalam WhatsApp group tu ada. Jadi untuk yang hari ini kita akan tengok yang saya baru bagi. Bukan yang saya bagi pada malam tadi ataupun malam semalam. Kita tengok ya. Kita tengok soalan dia adalah kita tengok soalan arwana dulu, soalan arwana. Soalan arwana. Okay. Arwana is the name of the company, is involved in a project to develop a new software. Involved in a project to develop a new software for a computerized machinery. The software is for the machinery. During the year ended 30th June 2012, the company spent 600,000. 600,000 for the activities aimed at obtaining new knowledge and survey about software available in the market. Okay. So daripada penerangan ini, from this explanation about 600,000, do you think that 600,000 is research or development?
Research.
Yes. Aim at obtaining knowledge and survey. Jadi research. Masa ni fasa research. So bila kita tahu dia adalah research phase, kita tahulah nak buat apa dengan 600,000 will be written off. Right. During the year ended 30th June 2013, the project was successfully completed. Successfully completed. Jadi pada tahun 2012 kita masih lagi ada research cost. Tapi 2013 kita dah complete the project and the company managed to come up with a new software named Pixion. The cost incurred was 1 million. The market research has shown that the software will be able to be marketed to derive future economic benefit. Okay, what does it mean? Means 1 million is what? Is it research or development? $1 million. Is it research or development? The project was successfully completed. So is it research or development?
Development.
Development. Okay, because the project already completed. Kalau research maknanya the research was completed, but this one is the project was completed. The market research showed that it will be marketed to derive the future economic benefit. Okay, what happened on 1st July after completion on 30th June, right? On 1st July, Pixion was launched. The real product was launched. The company expects that the software will be in the market for 5 years. During the year ended 30th June 2014, Arwana also spent 50,000 to patent the software. To patent the software. So this one is another expenditure incurred. Since the software will also be used by Arwana Berhad, some of its staff were sent for training. The cost incurred was 20,000. The company decided to recognize the training cost as an intangible asset. Can the company recognize this as intangible asset? Training. Boleh tak? Send for training 20,000. Lepas tu dia nak recognize sebagai intangible asset. Boleh tak?
Tak.
Tak boleh. Sebab apa? Why? You have incurred 20,000 but you cannot recognize as intangible asset. Why you cannot recognize?
Sebab training,
Yalah, sebab apa training tak boleh recognize?
sebab dia expensive.
Betul lah tu, jawapan dia betul lah. Cuma the concrete reason that we cannot recognize it as intangible asset. You send your staff for training, it means after they went for training, they become better person, right? They become a skillful person. But why you cannot recognize that training? Of course, the answer is because of it is an expenses. But the reason for not recognizing it as intangible asset and recognizing it as an expenses is you cannot control the staff. You cannot control the staff. You cannot control the staff. You cannot prohibit the staff from leaving the company, right? Sebab itulah 20,000 tu kita recognize as expenses. Okay, last sekali, Arwana Berhad also incurred a customer list of 10,000. Acquired a customer list of 10,000 to broaden the target market for the software. The customer list can be used for 2 years. Can you recognize customer list as intangible asset? Can you? Can or cannot? In your opinion?
Can.
Can. Why? Any specific reason why you can recognize? Why you can recognize? Yes, anybody? Because of the word acquired. Yeah, because of the term acquired. Acquire means purchase. So when you purchase, you have the evidence. The evidence of the cost. It means the cost can be measured reliably. Because normally customer list cannot be recognized if it is internally generated. If you write on your own the customer list, you cannot recognize as intangible asset. But if you buy the customer list, you can recognize as intangible asset. Okay. So ada yang betul, ada yang tak betul lah jawapan tadi. Tapi kebanyakannya betul jawapan yang awak bagi. Okay. Required. Based on MFRS 138, intangible asset, explain the accounting treatment for the cost incurred relating to the research and development of software fiction for the year ended 30th June 2012, 13, 14. Dia nak tahu tentang research and development fiction 2012, 13 dan 14. Apakah accounting treatment dia? Yang kedua, explain whether or not the patent can be recognized as intangible asset based on MFRS 138. Boleh tak? Patent tadi, dia register patent kan? Patent berapa tadi? 50,000. Boleh tak spend patent cost incurred in patenting? Boleh. Boleh ke tidak? Okay, kalau tak dapat jawapan, simpan dulu. Number 3, explain whether or not the decision made by Awana to recognize training cost as intangible asset comply with MFRS 138 or not. Number 4, explain the accounting treatment for the software that will be used by Arwana. Number 5, explain the accounting treatment for the customer list in compliance with MFRS 138. Jadi semua soalan ini perlu dijawab dan markah dia 20 markah. Alright, So sebahagian daripada soalan tadi you manage to answer correctly. Cuma ada sedikit yang tak berapa betul lah. Okay. Kita pergi kepada suggested solution. For question 1. For question 1 dia nak minta kita tadi explain about the accounting treatment for 2012, 2013, 2014 So, for the year ended 30th June 2012, it was still during the research phase. So your answer just now is correct. And the research cost of 600,000 should be expensed off to SOPL because of uncertainty of future economic benefit that will flow to the entity. In the year 2013, 30th June 2013, the development cost of 1 million can be capitalized. Or, in another word, can be recognized as intangible asset. Your answer is correct just now. Because, what? The expected future economic benefit will flow to the entity. For the year ended 30th June 2014, since the product has been launched on 1st July 2013, the development cost should be amortized over a finite life of 5 years. Ini jawapan dia. And then second one, patent. Can the patent be recognized as intangible asset? The answer is the patent can be recognized as intangible asset because it is identifiable asset, controlled by the entity, and future economic benefit can be derived from it, and the cost can be measured reliably. Number 3. The decision by Arowana to recognize the training cost as intangible asset does not comply with MFRS 138. Why? Because training cost cannot be recognized as an intangible asset. Why? Since there is no control over the staff. The staff can leave the company, so the cost incurred 20,000 should be written off to SOPL. Right? Number 4. The software that will be used by Arwana Berhad can be recognized as intangible asset because it meets the quality of an intangible asset. That is identifiable, control, and future economic benefit will flow to the entity. If the software has a finite life, it should be amortized over its useful life. But if it has an indefinite life, then it should not be amortized, but tested for impairment annually. And whenever there is indication that the asset is impaired. And the last sub-question for this question is about the customer list. Can the customer list being recognized? The customer list which was acquired. Here ada perkataan acquired. Can be recognized as intangible asset because it is identifiable, can be controlled, and future economic benefit will flow to the entity. Okay, since it has a finite life, it should be amortized over 2 years. Okay, is that okay? Okay, jadi kalau nak ambil gambar, you boleh ambil gambar. Okey, itu soalan yang pertama, Arwana. Kita tengok pula soalan yang kedua. Okay, the second question is about Denise Beauty. Denise Beauty. Denise Beauty is a prominent manufacturer of health and skincare product operating in Kota Baru, Kelantan. The company is currently involved in research and development R&D of several new products to meet the demand of the customers who desire beauty and healthy style. On 1st January 2014, the company became the sole manufacturer of a skincare product, Mystery, when it acquired a patent to manufacture Mystery at a cost of 2.5 million. Okay, what happened on 1st January 2014? It acquired a patent. Acquire. The word acquire. A patent What is the name of the patent? Mystery. By acquiring the patent, the company can produce. Apa bukti dia? Dia kata sole manufacturer of skincare product Mystery. The right to manufacture Mystery is for 10 years. The company decided to adopt a revaluation model for the patent and estimated that the fair value at 31st December 2014 is 2.7 million. The company also embarked on a research project. So cerita pasal Mystery tadi, paragraf yang kedua. Paragraph 3, the company also embarked on a research project on 1st January 2014 to develop a new face cream to cure pigmentation problem. The research cost incurred was 90,000. On 1st April 2014, the company R&D team managed to find the correct combination of herbs to formulate the cream named Pixmax. To cure the pigmentation problem, a market survey conducted by the company showed that Pixmax will be acceptable by customers nationwide. The company immediately started the development of Pixmax and the cost incurred was 495,000. Boleh tak recognize Pixmax? Boleh tak?
Boleh.
Boleh ya? The company also spent 250,000 on 1st March 2015 to hire an expert. To assist the development of the new product. Further development costs incurred until 30th June 2015 was 330,000. 500,000 was incurred for the advertising and marketing campaign of Pixmax in 2015. Pixmax was launched on 1st July 2015 and was expected to be a market leader for the next 4 years. When Pixmax was launched, it received a promising market demand. However, after a few months of usage, some customers have allergic reaction to Pixmax. Pixmax was recalled from the market on 30th April 2016. Jadi, bukan senang nak berniaga. Bukan senang kita nak berniaga. We have spent a lot of money for Pixmax. You spend a lot of money for Pixmax. Many thousands. And okay, you have launched the product on 1st July, but not reaching 1 year. 30th April 2016. Okay, there are some reports that some of the customers have an allergic reaction to Pixmax. And Pixmax was recalled from the market on 30th April 2016. What is the meaning of recall? Apa meaning recall ni? Recall ni maknanya ditarik balik. Ditarik balik daripada pasaran. Jadi maknanya bermula daripada 30 April 2016 tu ada impairment lah kat situ. Impairment. Sebab kita tak boleh nak recover. Future benefit cannot recover the carrying amount. Required based on MFRS 138 intangible asset. A. Explain the accounting treatment of the patent to manufacture Mystery during the year ended 31st December 2014. Okay, number 2. Discuss the appropriate accounting treatment for the cost incurred during the research and development of Pixmax during the year 31st December 2014. C. Identify the accounting treatment for the cost incurred by the company during the year ended 31st December 2015. Number D. Justify the accounting treatment of the cost related to Pixmax in 2016. Okay. Jadi saya bagi masa sedikit kepada awak. Tadi soalan yang pertama tu kita buat sama-sama. Okay. Soalan yang kedua ni awak cuba buat dulu. Saya bagi masa 10 minit lah untuk mencari-cari jawapan dalam 10 minit ni. Kemudian kita akan bincang. Saya bagi 10 minit sekarang ni 10.44. Pada pukul 10.54 nanti insyaAllah kita akan sambung lagi perbincangan. Okay. Boleh Okey, macam mana? Boleh dapat gambaran jawapan? Ada yang nak cuba? Yeah, this is the solution. First is about the pattern. First is about the pattern. The pattern can be recognized as an intangible asset because it is identifiable, can be controlled, it has future economic benefit that will flow to the entity, and the cost can be measured reliably. Since the pattern has a finite life of 10 years, it will be amortized over a useful life of 10 years. However, the company cannot adopt the revaluation model. Ini penting ni. However, the company cannot adopt the revaluation model because there is no active market. For the pattern, since the company is the sole manufacturer of mystery, furthermore, the fair value was estimated internally by the company. Jadi kita kena fikir sikit. Dia kata dia adalah sole manufacturer. Bila dia adalah sole manufacturer, maknanya pattern mystery is not available in the market. The pattern is not available in the market. The product, yes. The pattern is not available in the market. You cannot purchase in the market the pattern because you are the only one who has the pattern. Okay? Are you following?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Second, the research cost incurred, which amounted to 90,000, should be recognized as an expense in statement of profit or loss because it did not meet the recognition criteria. What are the criteria that need to be met? Okay. It is not probable that future economic benefit will flow to the entity. However, beginning 1st April 2014, the development cost amounted to 495,000 can be recognized as intangible asset. Since during that period, there is an indication that there will be an inflow of future economic benefit for the new product, as the market survey indicates nationwide acceptance by the customers. So, the development cost will be amortized until the product is launched. Will not be amortized until the product is launched. Okay. So, in simple term, you cannot amortize the development cost until the product was in the market. Until the product can be sold in the market. Okay. Jadi setelah daripada produk tadi berada di pasaran, barulah kita boleh amortize. Kalau tidak, kita stay at cost. Stay at cost. C. During the year ended 31st December 2015, prior to the launching of Pixmax. Prior to launching of Pixmax, there was still a development cost that need to be capitalized. We can capitalize, okay, but we cannot amortize. And the amount is amounting to 330,000. The cost of 250,000 incurred to hire expert should be considered as part of development cost because you need an expert, okay, to help you, to develop the product. Since it was directly attributable to research and development activity, jadi kita boleh recognize lah as part of the development cost. When the product was launched on 1st July 2015, the development cost need to be amortized over 4 years. So the amortization for the amount for the year amounted to 134,375. How do we get this? Okay, we combine the cost together, 495,000 plus 330,000 plus 250,000 divided by 4 years times 6/12. Okay, was charged as an expense to SOPL. The advertising cost of 500,000 will be recognized as an expense in the statement of profit or loss. Okay, what about D? The development cost will be amortized from 1st January 2016 until 30th April 2000. From 1st January until 30th April 2016. Berapa bulan saja? Untuk tahun 2016, berapa bulan saja? Januari sampai April. The amortization of 89,583. Macam mana kita dapat angka ni? 1.075 million divided by 4 times 4/12. 4 bulan saja. Will be charged as an expense to statement of profit or loss. Amortization ceased on 30th April 2016 when Pixmax was recalled from the market. Pixmax was recalled from the market. All the unamortized balance of development cost of 851,042 will be written off to profit or loss. The development cost can no longer be capitalized since there will be no further future economic benefit that will flow to the company. Jadi mula-mula kita boleh recognize as intangible asset. Kemudian the product was recalled from the market, and what you can do is to write off the balance of the cost that is not amortized. Alright, so itulah jawapan dia, 20 markah. Okay, ada apa-apa soalan nak tanya? Tak ada? Okay, so kalau tak ada, kita break dulu 5 minit. Kemudian kita akan sambung dengan soalan example of test question. Test question. Okay, welcome back. This one is example of test question. Example of test question. The question consists of 2 questions. And one of the question is intangible asset. Okay, ini soalan dia. Aspire Berhad acquired a brand costing 300,000 on 1st January 2019. The brand has a useful life of 10 years. On the same date, the company developed its own customer list through marketing effort, sales activities, and providing excellent customer service. The cost incurred for the customer list was 80,000. Aspire Berhad expected the sales to increase, and the list will be updated every 3 years. The management was of the opinion that the list have value and should be included as intangible asset in its statement of financial position. During the year ended 31st December 2021, the brand received a bad publicity and the sales was adversely affected. On 1st July 22, the accountant estimated that the value in use of the brand was 140,000, while the brand fair value less cost to sell could be 144,000. The company adopts the cost model and amortization is charged on a monthly basis. Required? Identify 2 conditions that indicate intangible asset is identifiable. Number 2, explain the accounting treatment for the brand and the customer list for the year ended 31st December 2019 according to MFRS 138. And number 3, compute the impairment loss if any of the brand on 1st July 2022. Okay, identify 2 condition. Apakah 2 condition yang mengatakan intangible asset ni adalah identifiable? Number 2, explain the accounting treatment of the customer list, brand and customer list, and compute the impairment loss if any for the brand on 1st July 2022. Okay, ada siapa nak cuba jawab secara spontan? What are the 2 condition? Condition of identifiable. Anybody? You can refer to your note also.
It is separable.
It is separable. It means it can be separated from the entity and can be sold. Number 2,
Arises from contractual
arises from
or other legal right.
contractual or other legal right. Yes. Okay, itu jawapan untuk soalan 1. Okay. What about answer for question 2? Question 1, A2. About the brand and about the customer list. Anybody want to try? Kita tengok brand Kita tengok brand. Dia acquire brand. 300,000. Kemudian dia create customer list. So kita punya accounting treatment adalah untuk 31st December 2019. So anybody wants to try? Anybody? Okay, kalau tak nak cuba dua-dua, kita cuba satu dulu. Cuba brand. Siapa berani cuba? Brand. Okay, the question of brand start from here until here. Satu ayat saja, 2 ayat. 2 ayat untuk brand. Okay, siapa berani tentang brand? Untuk tahun 2019 sahaja. Yes, anybody? Muhammad Hazriman nak cuba?
Saya cuba sir.
Okay, baik.
Um, Aspire Berhad can be recognized as intangible asset because it meet the definition of intangible asset, which is identifiable, control and future economic benefit will flow to the entity.
Okay.
And tu je kan sir? Ke ada lagi?
Untuk 2019. Ada sikit lagi.
Sikit lagi.
Ayat yang kedua. Second sentence. Second sentence from the question. The brand has a useful life of 10 years.
It will amortize over the useful life of 10 years.
Okay. It will be amortized over the useful life of 10 years. Okay, lebih baik kalau kita letakkan, betul jawapan tadi. Lebih baik lagi kalau kita letakkan berapa banyak kita punya amortization per year kan. Okay. So basically itu berkaitan dengan brand. Nanti sekejap lagi kita tengok jawapan dia. Untuk customer list pula macam mana? Siapa nak cuba customer list? Siapa nak cuba customer list? Nurnisa? Nak cuba Nurnisa? Ataupun Imanina? Customer list? Muhammad Danish?
Saya cuba yang
Okay.
Sekejap The customer list which was acquired cannot be recognized as an intangible asset
Cannot be recognized as intangible asset. Okay.
because it does not meet the definition of the intangible asset.
Okay.
Itu saja.
Okay, okay. Okay, jadi saya nak komen sedikit tadi. Okay. Jawapan dia memang betul. Dia cannot be recognized. Tapi ada tersebut perkataan acquire. Betul tak?
Ada.
Jadi kita tak boleh sebut perkataan acquire. Acquire makna beli tau. Acquire makna beli. Kita tak boleh sebut beli. Bila beli boleh recognize. Bila beli, acquire, purchase, bought, maknanya kita boleh recognize. Tapi dalam ni dia kata, the company develop. Develop makna bina sendiri. Develop its own customer list. So, dia tak boleh recognize tu because of develop on its own. Kalau dia acquire, boleh recognize. Begitu juga dengan tadi yang brand tadi. Okay, brand tadi kita kena sebut apa dia? Expire can recognize the brand as an intangible asset. Kena sebut clear. Expire can recognize the brand as an intangible asset. Sebab ada perkataan acquire tu dia boleh recognize. Tapi kalau dia develop on its own, dia tak boleh recognize. Itu dia. Okey. Jadi untuk menjawab soalan yang pertama dan kedua, kita dah terjawab tadi. Explain accounting treatment for brand and customer list. Okey. Cuma soalan yang ketiga ni, dia suruh kita compute the impairment loss if any of the brand. Okey. Jadi ni kita nak tengok jawapan daripada number 1, number 2, number 3 ni. Saya tunjukkan dia punya suggested solution. Okay. So jawapan yang pertama tadi betul. Jawapan kedua, on 1st January 2019, the acquired brand is recognized as intangible asset at cost of 300,000 because it meets the definition and recognition criteria of intangible asset. Okay. Jadi betul lah jawapan awak tadi. It will be amortized over 10 years and the amortization expense per annum is 30,000. Okay. Macam mana dapat 30,000? 300,000 divided by 10. Which is written off to SOPL. And then the carrying amount of the brand on 31st December 2019 is 270,000. That is for the brand. For the customer list, the internally generated customer list cannot be recognized as an intangible asset because the cost cannot be distinguished from the cost of developing the business as a whole. Thus, the cost of developing customer list 80,000 is written off to the profit or loss. Okay. Sebenarnya jawapan ni bolehlah jawab berbeza sedikit pun boleh juga. Kan? Berbeza sedikit pun boleh juga kita kata because it does not fulfill the recognition criteria of an intangible asset. Ya. Yeah? Okay. Itu untuk jawapan number 2. Jawapan number 3 pula. Calculate. Okay, kita tengok ya calculation ni. Panjang sikit calculation. Dia 4 markah. Okay ya. Okay, the cost is 300,000. The accumulated amortization is for 3.5 year. For 3.5 year. Betul ke 3.5 year tadi? Ya. Dia acquire pada tahun 2019. Sekarang ni tahun berapa? 2021 kan? Acquire pada tahun 2019 maknanya Januari sampai Disember 1 tahun. 2019, 2020, 2021. Okey, 3 tahun dah. 19, 20, 21, 3 tahun. Kemudian pada the brand received a bad publicity and the sale was adversely affected. On 1st July 2022, the accountant estimated that the value in use of the brand was 140,000. Jadi, because of the bad publicity, kemudian adverse sale, menyebabkan pada 1 Julai 2022, kan? 3 tahun setengah lah. Dia dah menjangkau 3 tahun setengah. Jadi bila kita nak calculate kita punya impairment loss pada tahun 22 bulan Julai, okay, so maknanya amortization is already 3.5 year. Jadi 300,000 divide by berapa tahun? 10 tahun kali dengan 2 tahun setengah. Kali dengan 2 tahun setengah. Ataupun macam ni lah. 30,000 times 3 plus 30,000 divide by 2. Kita dapat 105,000. Okay. Jadi biasanya yang cost ni betul lah. Kemudian accumulated amortization ni kalau dia per annum, kita kali 4 lah. Tapi kalau monthly dia kata kan, monthly, so kita ambil 3.5 year, 105,000. So the carrying amount is 195,000. Okay. And then, what is the recoverable amount? Ada 2 amount kat situ. Value in use, 140,000. Fair value less cost to sell, 144,000. Mana satu kita nak pilih sebagai wakil kepada recoverable amount? Is it 140 or 144? Recoverable amount is, yes, the higher of. Jadi untuk PPE pun macam tu juga kan? The higher of. Jadi kita ambil the higher of value in use and fair value less cost to sell, which is 144,000. Kita pilih 144,000 compare dengan 195,000 dan kita dapat apa dia? Recoverable amount dia 144,000 compare dengan carrying amount 195,000, kita dapat impairment loss of 51,000. Okay. Jadi inilah dia impairment loss of 51,000. So terjawablah soalan kita yang ketiga. Okey, kita pergi kepada bahagian yang kedua daripada soalan teks pula. Bahagian kedua, bukan soalan kedua bahagian kedua. Okey, bahagian kedua adalah about seri muka. Ya, seri muka. Seri muka Sendirian Berhad acquired and established a franchise a few years ago. Acquired. Sila lihat perkataan acquired. Acquired and established franchise a few years ago. Acquired means buy. Acquired means purchase. A few years ago. On 31st December 2021, the franchise has a fair value of 153,000 and a remaining useful life of 8 years. The franchise has been revalued previously at a surplus of 33,000. On 31st December 22, the fair value of the franchise is 130,000. The financial year end of the company is 31st December each year. The company adopts a revaluation model for intangible asset and amortization is charged on a yearly basis. Required? Explain the appropriate accounting treatment of the franchise for the year ended 31st December 22. Okey, apa yang kita nak sebut kat sini tentang apa ni? Accounting treatment. Accounting treatment of franchise on 31st December 22. Dia beli tahun tak tahu. Dia kata a few years ago. Kemudian 21. Dia kata 21 the franchise fair value 153. Remaining useful life 8 years. Kemudian franchise ni pernah ada revaluation surplus sebanyak 33,000. Tak tahu tahun bila. Kemudian 31 December 22, the fair value of the franchise is 130,000 and the financial year end of the company is 31st December each year. Okay, so apa kita nak cerita kat sini untuk tahun 2022? Of course lah kita nak cerita tentang ni kan. Kita nak compare dia carrying amount dengan fair value dia pada 31st December tahun 2022. Jadi apa yang kita nak cakap? Apa yang kita nak sebutkan? Of course lah kita kena cari dulu berapakah carrying amount pada 31st December tu. Berapa carrying amount dia tu. Nak tahu carrying amount, kita kena tengoklah amortization semualah. Amortize dia berapa, carrying amount dia berapa. Okay, kemudian kita compare dengan fair value. Kemudian kita tengok dapat deficit ataupun surplus on revaluation. Kan, kalau deficit kita akan reverse kan kita punya surplus yang dulu. Tapi kalau surplus, kita akan tambah kita punya ARR kita. Okay, jadi kena ada 8 point lah kat situ. Okay, boleh agak-agak berbayangkan, boleh. So dia punya fair value, fair value pada tarikh 31st December 2021 adalah 153,000. Dan 153,000 ni termasuk di dalam dia adalah 33,000 surplus tadi. Kemudian remaining life 8 years. So kita kena bagi 8 lah. 153 bagi 8 untuk dapatkan 1 year punya amortization. Kemudian kita dapatkan dia punya carrying amount dia. Kemudian kita compare dengan 130,000. Okay, sama ada kita dapat surplus ataupun deficit on revaluation. Boleh tak?
Boleh, sir.
Boleh. Okay. So kita tengok kita punya 2 markah saja kan. 2 markah tu pun banyak juga. Bukan sikit lah 2 markah ya. Markah. Okay, kita tengok. Okay, ni dia. In the year 2022, because at the end of 2021, dia punya carrying amount 153. Jadi amortization dia 153 divided by 8. So berapa? 19125. Which is written off to SOPL. Of course lah, amortization will be written off to SOPL. And then, as at 31st December 22, the carrying amount is 153 minus 19125. So carrying amount dia adalah 133,875. Okay, 133,875. And then the fair value is 130,000. Mana lebih besar? Carrying amount ke fair value? Carrying amount lebih besar daripada fair value. Jadi, adalah penurunan sebanyak 3875. This result in deficit on revaluation of 3875. Since this is a subsequent revaluation, 3875 of the ARR is reverse. Jadi kita reverse balik. Dulu kita ada surplus. Dulu kita ada surplus 33,000. Sekarang ni kita kena reverse 3875. So, the accumulated amortization of 19,125 is eliminated. Whenever there is a revaluation, amortization will be eliminated. The new carrying amount of the franchise on 31st December 22 is 130,000. Bukanlah 133,875. Is it okay, class?
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Okay, next. Kita pergi kepada soalan 3. Soalan 3 daripada soalan 1. Okay, soalan C. Aidil Berhad is undertaking a research and development project to identify radically different poisons to control pests. Jadi bila kita baca soalan ni macam ada sign lah, macam ada sign sikit. Okay, Aidil Berhad is undertaking a research and development project to identify radically different poisons to control pests. For the year ended 31st December 2019, the company had incurred a total of 1.5 million on its research and development activity. Out of that amount, 500,000 was for research on a variety chemical compositions on various pests. Believing that the project would be successful, Aidil Berhad embarked on the development phase. Okay, daripada 1.5 million tadi, 500,000 adalah research phase. Jadi berapa untuk development phase? 1 million. Kan? On 1st January 2020, Aidil Berhad proceeded with the development phase. For the year ended 31st December 2020, an additional development cost incurred to complete the project was 700,000. Which include a market research cost of 52,000 conducted in November 2020. The market research indicated that there is a large market for the new poison. Production and sales of the new product began in 1st January 2021. and the product is expected to be in the market for 10 years. The company adopts a revaluation model for its intangible asset. On 1st January 22, the fair value of the capitalized development cost was 1,612,000. Okay, apakah soalannya? Soalannya number 1, explain the accounting treatment of the research and development cost for the year 2019 and 2020 and show journal entries to record the transaction for the year ended 31 December 2022. Okay, so kita nak buat accounting treatment 8 markah untuk 2019 dan 2020, 2020, 2019 and 2020. For what? For research and development cost in 2019. So what happened in 2019? Dia kata 2019 company incurred 1.5 million. It is research and development activity. Out of that, 500,000 for research. So 500,000 kita dah keluarkan sebagai research activity. Okay, 1 million untuk apa? 1 million adalah untuk development. Alright. Kemudian January pula. January 2020 pula. On 1st January 2020, Ideal proceeded with the development phase. Proceed makna sambung. Bukan mula. Proceeded with development phase. For the year ended 31 December 2020, an additional development cost incurred to complete the project was 700,000. Okay. Which include market research. Market research 52,000. Boleh tak kita nak kata dia development? 52,000. Is it a development or research?
Research.
Research. Jadi kita kena tolak lah daripada 700 tadi, tolak 52,000. Okay. Kemudian production for 10 years. Dan last kali kita punya fair value on 1st January 2022 is 1,612,000. Okay, saya bagi masa beberapa minit lah. Mungkin 5 ataupun 7 minit untuk mencari jawapan. Kemudian kita bincang jawapan dia. Explain accounting treatment. Untuk journal entry ni saya kena tunjuk lah. Accounting treatment yang 8 ni saya bagi 7 minit. 7 minit. Sekarang 11.35 campur 7 minit 11.42. Kita akan sambung. 11.42. Okay. Cuba. Okey, kita tengok jawapan dia. Mula-mula kita tengok dia punya working, working. C, untuk C. B tadi kita dah cover B, C. Okay, for C, number 1, the cost of 500,000 incurred for research is written off to the SOPL in the year 2019 because there is uncertainty with regard to the flow of future economic benefit to the entity. Meanwhile, the cost incurred amounted to 1 million. Baki daripada 1.5 million minus 500,000 tadi. Kita tinggal 45 dia, 500,000. Qualified as the development expenditure. The carrying amount of the development cost on 31 December 2019 is 1 million. Okay, itu 2019. In the year 2020, the development expenditure of 648,000. Okay, macam mana dapat 648? 700 minus 52. 700,000 minus 52. Dan 52 tadi adalah research cost. Kita tolaklah daripada 700. Incurred in 2020 can be capitalized as intangible asset since the project meets the capitalization criteria. The market research of 52,000 should be written off to SOPL. Itu saja cerita dia. Okay. Last sekali adalah journal entry. Journal entry ni. Sebelum kita pergi pada journal entry ni, kita kena buat sedikit pengiraan lah. Journal entries to record all transaction for the year ended 31 December 22. So what happened in 2022? Okay. In 2022, there will be a second revaluation. There will be a second revaluation. Kita tengok baca semula tadi. Pada tahun 2022, pada tahun 2022, on 1st January 2022, the fair value of the capitalized development cost was 1,612, 1,602,000. Sedangkan dia punya tadi carrying amount dia, carrying amount dia tadi berapa? 1648. 1648. Tapi tak ditulis kat sini kan? Okey. Untuk tahun 2019, dia carrying amount 1 million. Kemudian kita campur dengan carrying amount untuk tahun 2020. Kita campur 648. Jadi 1648. 1648. Jadi daripada 1648 tadi, 1648, kita calculate dia punya amortization. Calculate dia punya amortization. Amortization dia berapa? Amortization dia adalah 1648 bagi dengan 10 sama dengan 164,800. 164,800. Okey. Jadi dia punya tu naik ke turun? Jadi pada tahun 2020, the product was launched pada tahun 2021. Pada tahun 2021. Jadi maknanya untuk tahun 2021 kita dah amortize. Kita dah amortize sebanyak 164,800. Sebab tu pada bulan Disember 2022 kita kena debit accumulated amortization. Sebab kita reverse balik bila kita ada revaluation. Debit accumulated amortization 164,800. Credit intangible asset 164,800. Itu number 1. Number 2. Debit intangible asset. Credit ARR. Debit intangible asset, credit ARR. Kenapa kita debit intangible asset, credit ARR? Sebab the fair value is 1612, sedangkan carrying amount dia adalah 1583. 1583. Macam mana dapat 1583 ni? 1583 200 ni macam mana dapat? Dia dapat dengan cara 1680 164 800 sorry 16840. Sekejap saya pun tersasul-sasul ni. 1648 1648 bagi dengan 10 kan. Kita dapat 164 800. Okey, 164 800 tolak daripada 168. Okey, kita dapat 1583 200. Kemudian kita punya fair value 1612. So the difference is 128,800. Okey. 128,800. Dan yang ketiga adalah amortization untuk tahun 2002. Berapakah amount dia? 1612,000 bagi 9 tahun. Kita dapat 179,111. 179,111. Jadi saya tunjuk semula jawapan supaya awak boleh ambil gambar ke. Okey. Dan di bawah ni.
Sir,
Okey. Ya.
yang 1583 tu,
Hmm.
tu bukan 15, 14. 1483
Oh,
200.
1483. Okey, thank you. Jadi betul tak jawapan dia 128 tu?
Betul.
Betul ya. Okey, thank you. Ada apa-apa soalan? Setakat yang kita soalan nombor 1 ni. Tak ada? InsyaAllah pada kelas akan datang kita akan cuba tengok pula soalan final exam untuk semester yang sebelumnya lah. Okey. Kemudian minggu depan kita akan sambung dengan tajuk baru. Agriculture. Okey, ada one last question?
Tak ada, sir.
Tak ada ya. Okay, thank you very much for attending the class. Kita sudahi kelas kita pada hari ini dengan surah Wal-As. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Wal asri innal insana lafi khusr illa allazina amanu wa amilus solihat wa tawassaw bil haqq wa tawassaw bis sabr. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome.
Thank you, sir.